Hey everybody, Sean Holsinger here from holsingersflyshop.com. Bringing another time video this week. Now I got steelhead on my mind. It's getting close. It's fall here. Well, it's not fall yet, but it's really close. And all I can think about is wanting to go steelhead fishing. So I'm going to try to bring a couple steelhead patterns for you here in the next couple weeks. And I'm going to start out with a minnow pattern here. You guys know me. I'm from Pennsylvania, so I'm an Erie guy. And Erie is famous for its emerald shiners, so usually pretty much every year I show some kind of emerald shiner pattern. Last year's one, if you go back to last year's pattern, the Iron Mike that I tied in the emerald shiner color works great. Iron Mike is one of the Lively Legs guys. It's a pattern that he came up with, and that fly worked really well for me last year. And this year, this is a pattern that I'm going to be trying. This is Pate's Pine Squirrel Streamer. A version of it, my version of it. I tied it a little bit different than he did, used a couple different materials, and but it's still going to have the same effect, but using a couple different materials. So really not that hard to tie. A few materials, not many at all actually, and you get a pretty cool looking fly when you're done. So here we go. I'm going to show you a picture of it and then the material list to tie it. Alright, here you see the fly in the vise. Pretty cool looking minnow pattern. Going to be a great Erie steelhead pattern. Let's get into tying it. For a hook, I'm using a Daiichi 2220. And this is a size 8. I'm going to put a little bit of lead on it. I'm going to use some .020. And I'm going to cover about 2/3 of the hook shank with lead. So just wrap that up there, however many wraps it takes. And then I'm going to push it together. So next thing I'm going to put on is some thread, and that's 140 Denier olive. You can use whatever color thread here. It's not real important. It'll show through it on the skull at the end, but olive blends in nice. That's why I'm using olive. So we're just going to cover all of that lead there. And the next thing I'm going to put on is a little bit of Krystal flash. And this is just going to give a little bit of extra action back in the tail section, and I'm going to put it on in the tail. So what I did was I took I took about 6 pieces of Krystal flash, bent them in half, cut it, and so I got like 12 strands there now. I'm going to leave that hang out over the back for a minute, and I'm going to cut that off to length here after we put the rest of the materials on. So next thing we're going to use is some pine squirrel zonker. This is Chartreuse. And I'm going to set it on top here to see about where I want the length of that tail to be. And that's about how long I want it to be there. So I'm going to pull this pine squirrel zonker in half, separate the fibers. I'm going to bring my thread back to that tail. And then I'm going to tie this down on top. So we're going to get that situated where I want it on top of the hook. And make about 3 wraps there, taking care to get it all in place where you need it. Then I can cut my tail off now. And where I like to cut my tail off, actually I want to trim that just a hair. There we go. Because when I cut my last one off, I left a little bit extra on. And I'm going to cut this Krystal flash off about halfway between where the leather ends and where the hair ends. So I'm just going to come in there and trim that off. Now I'll set that Krystal flash aside for the next one and get back to tying this. So now I'm going to take my pine squirrel, pull it back out of the way, and get right in front of it. And I'm going to put on the belly of this fly. For the belly, I'm going to use some hair wing material in white that we sell at the shop. You can use any white ice dubbing or something like that. I just like this hair wing material for it because I can cover a lot of the hook quickly with it. So what I like to do is I like to get it started on there, wrap it on, make 2 or 3 wraps, And once it's started, then I can pull it a little bit better and get it dubbed on a little tighter. Now, I don't want to make this too tight because I want a little bit of, I want to increase the size a little bit. Not much, more than I normally do with dubbing, but still, I don't want to go overboard on it. And I'm going to bring this up just past the lead. There we go, I like that. And stop about 2 eye lengths behind the eye. So now that I got that on there, I'm going to bring my my pine squirrel zonker back up over the top, right over the top of it. I'm going to hold it in place where I want it on top. And then I'm just going to pinch it down with a couple of nice wraps there. Then we're going to trim the extra off. And clean that up a little bit. There we go. I like that a lot. Nice length there. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put some gills on this, and I'm just using an old red feather that I had around. If you have some red marabou, that would work great. This is just a red feather that I had. I got it out of a grab bag, one of those whiting grab bags. Just going to pull off some fibers on it, put it down here on the bottom, and wrap it onto the bottom of the fly. So you get those red gills sticking out the bottom. Then we're going to trim the ends off. And I'm going to build up a little bit of a head here. I have to build it up because of my fish skull that I'll be using at the end. So building up a little bit now isn't going to hurt you later. So we're just going to wrap some extra wraps on there. Then we're going to add a brown wet fly hackle here. Just any old brown you have laying around. It's not important. I'm going to wrap that in. I'll wrap it in on your side so you can see it. Just going to lay it right on the side. Wrap it in. And then I'm just going to take and palmer this around the hook here. Oops, I got that going. There we go. Actually, yeah. I'm going to go the other way so that it wraps the way that I want it. There we go. I'm going to do about 2 or 3 wraps and then tie it off. I want, a fair amount of fiber here, not a ton, but enough that it's noticeable. And I'm going to trim that off, take all these stray fibers at the front, pull them back with my fingers, and turn them back towards the back there like that. So this is just going to give it a little bit of a mottled color there. Give it a little extra color sticking in. Now the next thing I'm going to use is one of these fish masks. And this is a number 4. And I got a lot of room to build up here. So I'm going to I slide it over, see how close I am. I see that I need more thread on here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some more thread right now, and then I'm going to cheat a little bit and use some UV glue to do some extra building up quicker. So now that I got enough on there, finish that off quick. I'll come in and test out my fish skull again. Still a lot of wiggle room in there. So I'm going to take this is Solarez Bone Dry. Just going to put a kind of a healthy amount here just to get it to build up quicker. So I don't have to spend all that time wrapping the thread on. Hit that with my light. Now we'll test it again. And I'm getting a lot closer now. Now I'm close enough I can glue it. So now I'm going to take some super glue and put some super glue the whole way around this head here. And then we're going to glue this fish mask in place. So I'm just going to hold it back there just for a second. If I want to do a little extra holding it in place, I can come back in front here with thread and build up a thread dam right in front of it. That will really help. So that'll help hold it in place. And then we're going to glue our eyes on. So the last thing we need to do here is I'm just going to take some super glue. There's little holes on, not holes, but little platforms on each side that are this size of the eye that you put in. Like I said, this is a number 4 helmet, or fish skull, so fish mask. So it uses a size 4 eye, 4mm eye. We're just going to put another dab of glue in there. These are just a quicker, easier way of making a head. Rather than putting one eye on, gluing it in place, putting the other eye on, and using UV glue for the head. So I put both of those on. Then I like to, for me, to hold it in place, I like to put a little bit of UV glue on each eye, wrap that UV glue over the sides, not so much cover up the fish mask with it, but just take that glue over the sides, and I feel that it locks those eyes in place a little bit better. And I'm going to put some up on that thread that I used to build the dam in front of it. And that's all that's to this. We're just going to hit the light on it, and there you go. You got yourself a nice little streamer. Alright guys, hope you liked that video, and I hope you're as ready as I am for steelhead fishing if you have them in your area and get the chance to fish them. I love catching them things because they just put up so much of a fight. They're so fun to catch on a fly rod. I'm going to do a lot of streamer fishing this year for them. I love streamer fishing. I love swinging streamers and swinging wet flies. Wet flies and streamers are kind of the same approach. And when you get a hit on a on a streamer from a steelhead, you know it, and it's so much fun. So I hope you like this pattern. Like always, guys, if you need any of the materials to tie it, you can find them at our website at holsingersflyshop.com. And if you have any questions, reach out to me. Drop a comment down below in the description there. You know, I love answering your comments, and I just enjoy doing this. So, like always, guys, you can also, if you have any questions, want to get a hold of me, you can reach out to me at holsingersflyshop@gmail.com. So I do custom tying. If you like any of these flies or any of the other ones you saw, you know, I do custom orders. You might not see them on the shop website, the flies listed on the shop website, but I do anything I tie in one of my videos, I can tie for you. So until next week, guys, when I bring you another video, keep tying, and I'm Sean Holsinger.